Shelley Hofberg is a clairvoyant, medium, pet psychic, and tarot reader. She does not ask for the details about your life, but primarily relies on her gift of clairvoyance to receive the psychic insights that will be the most helpful to you about your soulmate, relationships, money concerns, and your career path. As a pet psychic, she will receive insights about what your pet or pets wants you to know. As a medium, she will connect with your loved ones on the other side. Shelley Hofberg is the host of the Psychic Horizon radio show, produced by Goldilocks Productions and presented on Blog Talk Radio, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Shelley brings together the pioneers and visionary teachers to share with you some of the most enlightening knowledge that is out there today to expand your horizons and open the paths to higher consciousness.
Welcome to the Psychic Horizon Show. I'm your host, Psychic Shelley Hofberg, and today's special guest is Gary Wimmer, who will be talking about out-of-body experiences. And before I bring on Gary, I just want to make some quick announcements that this Saturday I'm going to be at the Learning Light Foundation Psychic Fair from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Anaheim, California. And I have some upcoming guests. I have numerologist psychic Jeremy Ryden as my guest on September 13th and October 11th. He's the author of The Quest Method, Your Intuitive Destiny Guide, and and Your Soul Story, How to Create the Life You Always Wanted. And on September 20th and October 8th, I have Brian Ross. He's the host of the Magical Journey radio show that comes on, produced by Goldilocks Production, that comes on 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays. And on September 27th, I have Cyprin Dias, who's going to be talking about the karmic cards. On October 4th, I have Francis Polin, who will be talking about automatic writing. And October 25, I have Michael Espinoso. He's a psychic and healer, and he'll be talking about prana healing. And Gary Wimmer, he wrote a book on his out-of-body experiences, and on lithomancy, which is the art of reading stones. I'm now ready to bring on my guest, Gary. Hello, Gary.
Shelley. How are you, girl?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, compared to all the chaos in the world, I feel like I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Always got to keep things in perspective, correct?
Yes, that's for sure. And Gary, can you tell the callers about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to be actually 71 in November 8th. I was one of the third of 7 brothers. I was a Catholic when I was young, wanted to be an altar boy. Well, I was an altar boy, and thinking about becoming a priest until puberty hit. That changed that. I went to college in electrical engineering, and during college I got interested in psychic ability a lot. I got out of college, decided to play music instead of work as an electrical engineer. It was all defense work. And I got more and more into my psychic ability. Started giving readings way back in the early 70s, sort of my own methods, and a little bit of, everything from tarot cards to regular playing cards to all sorts of little things. And in 1977, I had an incredible experience that absolutely changed my life for the better. I wasn't that pathetic before, but I tell you what, I sure had a lot of questions, And I had a near-death experience in 1977 that was the most mind-boggling, beautiful thing anybody could ever experience. And one thing it certainly convinced me of is never fear death. It's an escape from this chaos we feel pulled apart here on Earth often. It's beautiful out there. And I came back from my near-death experience extremely bewildered. It happened after a accident with a car, basically. I was a pedestrian and was in an accident with a speeding car. It should have killed me, didn't even get hurt. Didn't feel any pain. And I realized at that moment, one of the things I realized at that moment is spirituality, our soul, our mind, our guardian angels can trump, bad word, but it's appropriate, trump physical reality. You know, do I believe in miracles? Absolutely. I lived through one, you know. So I could certainly tell you about the experience if you'd be interested, but
yes,
want to get back with you.
Yes.
I'll kind of give you and your listeners a synopsis because it was very interesting. When I started giving readings way back in the early 70s, I realized there's a lot of symbolism. It's how you give readings, and you know that, Shelley, because you have your own way of tapping into whatever symbolism you see and feel. In 1977, I was traveling with a band. I quit the band. I wanted to kind of consider some other options. And that same night, I started hearing what people would say before they would say it. And it kind of freaked me out the next day, as I didn't sleep at all that night. My mind kept racing. I felt something very strange happening to me. The next day, as my roommate walked in with the paper, the morning paper, he was reading it, and I read the headlines through his eyes. And when he threw the paper down on the table, I just kind of freaked out. Wow. Within a couple hours, I walked down to the store, and I started feeling, all of a sudden I'm feeling everybody around me and hearing their thoughts. And I was able to tell who would call next on the phone. I was able to tell cars coming up my street with the color of them, and I could describe the driver, before they even came to view. And this escalated over and over and over and over, many times over. I went through 8 days of this escalating psychic ability. And to give you an example of what I was experiencing, there was no neutral. Life in the normal lane was gone by the second day. I had no idea what was happening, but I was very aware of what I was able to perceive. And I'd never been so scared and so enlightened at the same time. I felt like I was walking a tightrope between insanity and extreme enlightenment, you know, seeing the undertones of everything. An example of what would happen, there was a roommate of mine who took particular interest in me and sort of care and concern because he knew I was going through some sort of unknown change. We'd go to a restaurant, for example. We did go to a restaurant one time, and he asked me how I was doing because this is about the third or fourth day, and I had become completely preoccupied with what I was experiencing. Like I said, normal life was no longer there. And I told him, I said, yeah, it's just escalating day by day. And he said, well, give me an example. So I looked at two ladies over in the far corner of the restaurant who I did not know, who could barely even see me. And one of them I couldn't even see at all. I just saw the back of her head. And I asked him if he knew them, and he said no. And I said, well, I'm going to have, me neither. I'm going to have the brunette, the one I could not see, write me a letter. And he said, what? I said, I'm going to just have her write me a letter. Well, our dinner came, and we ate. Of course, he completely forgot about that. But the whole time I'm thinking to this lady, come by, I'm the guy in the red shirt over here, write me a letter. Very harmless. And the reason I was thinking that is because there's no neutral. I was either picking up things from the universe or, as I saw, affecting it, but there was no neutral. Absolutely no neutral. So as we ate, I kept thinking about that, almost drawing like a laser beam between her and me so she could pick it up and know who I was. So we're eating, and then he kind of looked up, and the two ladies were walking toward us, or toward the cash register. The brunette was the second lady, and when she passed by, she threw a napkin down on the table. And in big, bold letters, she had written, why are you doing this to me? And that's absolutely true. I had this connection with physical reality and psychic ability like I'd never seen and even believed was possible. Long story short, I went through 8 days of this and was involved in a car accident, like I said, with a speeding car. Felt nothing, felt no pain. Immediately was outside my body, looking down at my body, getting crashed over by this car. And within no time, I was completely away from Earth in this galaxy. And I was expanding outward. This is an interesting thing. I was expanding outward like a balloon, being blown up with air, not like an arrow, going outwards in all directions. Psychically, my body was in the street in Austin, Texas here with a bunch of screaming pedestrians and a scared driver. But my consciousness was expanding like a balloon, and I went through all time and space, saw all these connections to myself and other people and past lives. But the further I went, the more I expanded, the faster things happened, the less I had an awareness of me. It just turned into pure sensation, beautiful sensation. And I ended up in what I call the perfect blue void, the mind of God, infinite consciousness, infinite love, infinite creativity. And I wasn't observing it, I was part of it, or it, but I could also observe it at the same time. And what it appeared to be is like infinite imagination at work, creating multi-universes and every possibility. Like the universe we live in now is a manifestation of one of those huge conglomerations of infinite thought. And we chose to come here. And we helped create the whole universe that we're living in before we became individual human souls. Because we all came from this infinite consciousness. And the thing that was striking is all that we see in matter and time and space and physical reality was really just a thought. So I understood the concept of Maya, or the illusion. Because in infinite mind, everything happens. It's all possible. But does it manifest really? Well, it sure seems pretty real while we're here. But what I realized is the thought, the creativity precedes the manifestation. And while I was pondering this beautiful ecstasy, infinite mind, infinite love, it's just beyond feeling good. It's just, it's indescribable beauty. But then I became aware that I was observing it and was drawn away from it and pulled back through this tunnel of light and all these layers of different galaxies and first different universes, and then into different galaxies and heading towards somewhere, and I had no idea where, because I wasn't even sure who I was. I just knew I left pure ecstasy and I'm headed somewhere, and I hope it's decent, because where I was sure beautiful. And then I came close to Austin and hovered over my body and recognized it, and I jumped back into my body. And there was a driver who was screaming. He was scared to death. He just hit me in a car, and people were screaming and hollering and stopping the traffic. And, well, I'd just been to heaven and back. I just jumped to my feet and started talking to people. By the time ambulance and police got there, it got pretty eerie because, of course, nobody could believe my story. They kept asking me how I was not hurt. What happened? How you standing up? This car's half totaled and you don't even feel any pain. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts about it. I wrote my book, A Second in Eternity, that describes in very clear detail about the week I went through, the crash, going to the infinite mind, returning, and then dealing with all the repercussions of breaking free and getting caught on this planet again by what I call the grounding agents. You know, they held me back from going out again. Good, because I don't need to go out again. I don't need another view of that. Not that I would mind it, but once you see it, and you just know that that's the infinite and the all. And I feel like the luckiest person on the planet, Shelley, or one of them, because I did get to see infinite mind, infinite love, God, whatever you want to call it, and come back. And I could never even imagine before that experience people could do that. In fact, I didn't even know that I had had a near-death experience until I heard the term 20 years later. This was in 1977. There wasn't much written about that. So about 10 years ago, I started my book, and I published it about 6 years ago, A Second in Eternity. It's on Amazon and Kindle under my name, Gary Wimmer, Wimmer. And it's quite an interesting story about that voyage. And what I had hoped to do by writing the book was to explain to people the best that I could, and the way I saw things, is that the universe, the external world, and the internal world are completely integrated. We may not know that or see that, but if we kind of accept that as a premise, because we are caught in time and space along with everybody else here, that this whole pulsating existence of all these souls, it's kind of like radio waves of insight that people, through their mind and their consciousness, can actually grow and gain and learn. The universe is always talking to us in symbolism. And 99% of the time, our conscious mind blocks it out so we can tie our shoes and go to work without being overwhelmed with all that the subconscious picks up. But at that particular point in my life, the wall that separated the conscious mind and the subconscious dissipated. And like a flood, I saw what my subconscious picks up all the time, and I think everybody's. It's amazing how much your subconscious picks up, and it's also amazing how much your conscious mind blocks you from it. Lets a little bit in dreams and in intuition, but as we lose fear, we realize we can drill holes in that wall and get more awareness of our subconscious and our spirituality and so forth. So, didn't mean to ramble on, but that's kind of what happened to me, and that's the story I wrote.
That's fascinating.
It certainly was, girl. Like I said, I feel so lucky.
And where can people buy your book?
They can go to Amazon or Kindle. Just go to either one, and it's on an e-book, a Kindle book, and also in print. So, yeah, just Amazon or Kindle. Or you can Google A Second in Eternity, and you'll find it. A Second in Eternity. But, I'm really interested in getting the book out, not because I make that much money off of it or anything, but because I hopefully did my part in trying to expand the awareness of don't be afraid of death, and don't be afraid at all. And it's a learning process. And I've gone through, when I was in my 20s trying to compete in the musical world here in Austin and elsewhere, I never had a good voice, so I didn't have much confidence. And I went through a lot of depression in my 20s. Now that I'm almost 71, I'm the happiest person on the planet. I really am, because I decide that every day, and nobody can take that away from me. In other words, mind, peace, happiness, creativity, love, forgiveness, there's no limit to how much we can grow in those areas. And they're the things that make you happy. And so I wrote that book kind of hoping to encourage people to understand their own psychic ability and to not be afraid, and to ask the universe to help them understand the symbolism that their own subconscious has. But their conscious mind protects you from it. So if you ask your guides to help you, they will. Like it says, ask and you shall receive. It doesn't say, and the key word is ask. Because your higher mind and your guardian angels and God and the universe don't want to force you to go right or left. They want you to choose. Because otherwise we could all be slaves. We got absolute free will, and we get to choose every day whether we see light or darkness in everything.
Let's take our first caller, Gary, which is Carolyn, area code 818. Hello, Carolyn.
Hello. Hi, Shelley, and hi, Gary.
Hi, girl.
I think your story is so interesting, and I'm going to have to get your book. But the question I have today is, can you give me a spiritual message from my guides?
From your dad?
From my guides.
Oh, from your guide?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, I use 16 stones and a deck of cards to do a reading, and I'm just going to use these and center on you and your guides, and all you have to do is just say drop. Girl, I'll drop these stones and tell you what I see, okay?
All right. You started already?
You just say drop. Whatever you say,
okay.
drop.
Drop.
You're actually in a time when you're about to learn a lot of new things, and it's because of curiosity. You have a lot of natural curiosity, and that's why you're going through a lot of changes at the same time. You feel everything's kind of, you got the brake on at the same time. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
This is sort of, it's a temporary condition. You know, there's a lot of astrological things that are affecting all of us and have been this summer. But you've got Uranus right in the center, and that's a lot of change. And Uranus in the center, to about 3 or 4 o'clock, you have Neptune. That's one of the spiritual stones. And then by about 7 o'clock, you have Pluto. That's the other spiritual stones. Mm-hmm. So all these are lining up with Venus, which is balance and harmony in relationships, with this magic stone, which means you're learning things, getting the T's crossed and the I's dotted, and with the moon. So what does this mean? It means you're really headed toward a lot more understanding of your own ability to tap into the guides at your will, on your way, on your schedule, on your terms. That's kind of what they're telling me. Did you lose a parent?
Oh, yes, I lost both.
Both. Okay. The reason I'm wondering is you've got, wow, this is interesting. You've got Venus and Mars very close to each other, which are your parents. You've got Pluto. That's the reason I felt like you lost somebody. You've got the love connecting them, and the commitment saying, you know, it's almost like you're making a commitment to let them talk to you more and ask them to.
Oh, yes, I have.
Then relax and let them, and also ask them to show you how you're getting the answers. Because that's very important. That's what I was talking about, reading the symbolism. Don't drive yourself crazy over it like I did. But just vow to yourself, because you're going through this change now of great opportunity and learning more about your spiritual ability. So as long as you're taking that path and you kind of know it's out of choice and desire and interest and need, because it gives you more aces up your sleeve, gives you more power. You're in the next couple of weeks, you're learning like new ways to look at this. That's Uranus. That's all this change. Saturn is you kind of feeling like you've been held in check and don't know what to do next. You know?
Yes.
I'm saying let go of. You don't have to ride the brake anymore. Let go of it. Just let go of the fear of what I got to do next, and start breathing deep and relaxing and telling yourself, I'm going to see the universe talk to me every minute, every day. And then just plant that seed and let it be. And meditate and ask your guides to help you, because they will. And I feel like by the 5th and 6th and 7th week here, you conquered a lot of fears in your life that have built up, and you're connecting with your parents again in a completely fresh way. I connect with my parents every day. I got my 4 guides, Jesus Christ, my parents, and this lady who taught me this system of lithomancy. And every day before I do a reading, or just many times during the day, I call on them to help me. I ask. And you got to ask. So does that make sense?
Yeah, all of it does. And it's a beautiful message. Thank you.
You too. Shelley?
I feel, Carolyn, your mom is coming through, and she's saying that 2019 is going to be a better year for you. You're going to have much more energy, and you're going to be more active, and you're going to be doing more things with friends, and you're going to be making some new friends. There's going to be a metaphysical center or metaphysical store that you're going to be getting involved with, going to their events, going to their classes and workshops. You're going to be taking more classes and workshops. So 2019 looks like it's a better year, and that you'll regain your energy. And Gary, how can Carolyn get in contact with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is go to my website, Now, you can go to GaryWimmer.com and you can find me. I'm also an actor and a writer and a musician, so you click on my psychic link and you'll get there. You can Google Gary Wimmer, GaryWimmer. You'll find me. Or you can Google lithomancy or go to lithomancy.com. That's the method I use. And that's lithomancy.com, like lithograph. lithomancy. Litho means stone. Mancy means the art of reading. So that means the art of reading stones, lithomancy. So you can Google my name or email me. Quickest email, I've got several, is gwim37@gmail.com. gwim37. So that should be plenty of ways, correct?
Yes, thank you both. Have a nice day.
You too, sweetheart.
Have a nice day, Carolyn. Thank you for calling.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm now going to continue my interview with Gary Wimmer on out-of-body experiences, and then we're going to take our next caller, which is area code 484. How can we learn to read the signs, Gary?
Well, I think the first thing you want to do, if you want to learn to play the piano, is commit yourself to it and practice. So the same thing. You want to learn to read the signs, develop your spiritual ability, just like the attitude of I'm going to hit a home run rather than I might strike out is going to help you get home runs. You use an affirmative, positive attitude of I'm going to allow myself to grow and evolve, and then ask the universe to help you. And like I said, I tend to think the easiest way to develop your insights is to just recognize that every moment in time and space, right before our eyes, or even internally, we have access to infinite mind. We have access to knowing how to read the signs, and we can ask the universe to instruct us better on that, and that's important. Did that kind of answer your question, or did I wander off?
Yes, it has. Let's take our next caller, which is area code 484. Hello, 484.
Hi.
And who do we have the pleasure of speaking to?
My name is Julia, and this is the first time I found your show. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Hello, Julia.
How are you?
We're fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm calling up today because I would just like to get maybe some insight or, what you guys see. I have been talking to somebody off and on for the past couple of months now, and I just want to see if you guys see anything regarding this person that I have been talking to, or do you see, if you guys see any of this going anywhere or what have you.
Okay.
And what is the person's name, Julia?
The person's name is Kyrate.
Kyrate. And do you pick up anything, Gary?
Well, I'll do the same thing, Julia. Just say drop, and I'll tell you what I see, okay?
Okay.
Whenever you say drop.
Drop it.
Okay, well, you know what I feel here, you got Pluto kind of in the center, and your emotions are kind of looking back at this guy and this situation. What you're gaining through this sort of, are y'all talking right now, or?
We have been talking ever since April. I talked to him here and there at different points. I talked to him last night.
Because you know what it feels like? You're both going through a big transition in life, kind of independently, and wondering if you can make it together. So you've got Pluto right in the center, and it's saying, don't worry about the past. Don't worry about what did not happen up to this moment, because you can't change that. But you can change how you interpret everything up to this moment as learning, because you're learning a lot of new things. And we learn things by striking out just as much as we learn things by hitting a home run. Do you understand?
Right.
So you're you're kind of getting a fresh lesson to yourself about how worthy you are, and how beautiful you are, and how cool you are, and you're upgrading yourself from the inside. And then he feels that. And when he feels even if you don't talk, he can feel it. He's connected to you spiritually, and I think karmically. I think that's the first thing you can do to enhance the outcome of this, and it feels like it has got a good outcome. It does. It feels like you're both kind of just going through a little bit of, for different reasons, a little bit of uncertainty and caution. You know.
Mhm.
Does that make sense to you, sweetheart?
Yeah, it does.
I think it's a good relationship coming into play as soon as y'all both kind of go through this cleaning, healing, letting go period, because there's a lot of confusion and things pointing two different directions at once. Do you understand?
Right. Yeah, it's a lot from his side, definitely. Because I just get different vibes from him. It's like I just feel like, I don't know, maybe he's stuck on things from the past or something.
I think to some degree, yeah.
It's definitely, right now I'm just kind of waiting on, him to clean up, so to speak.
Yeah. That's exactly what you do. Be a little hard to get. Let him clean up and upgrade himself. And remember, I consult a lot of women, and I grew up with 6 brothers, and we realized at 15 that y'all do not think like we do. Sometimes women don't learn that about men until they're 25 or 35 or 40. He doesn't think like me. Nope, never will. We ain't wired the same way. So you ladies, because most of the ladies I consult with, you know this, y'all are real connected to relationships. And, you procreate. So everything's every bit of love and sex and emotion has a different meaning. To men, it's pretty simple. So keep that in mind. We are as simple as we tell you we are. Sometimes you got to believe us. Does that help?
Yes, definitely.
Shelley?
Yes, Julia. I think that Tyree is interested in you. That there is an interest there, and he likes conversing with you. He likes talking to you, but he is working through some things. And I kind of feel that as we get into the month of October, November, that you're going to take things a little further and start to see each other, to go out. So I do think that it's coming up October, November that you'll be going out with each other. He's getting his courage up to ask you out. He is getting his courage up. It's just taking a little while for him to be ready. But I think that is going to happen for you. And Gary, how can Julia get in contact with you?
Well, the easiest way is email me, gwim37@gmail.com, or Google me, Gary Wimmer, you'll find me, or go to lithomancy.com, lithomancy.com, lithomancy, like lithograph. So that's 3 ways to get in touch with me, and you can call me when you find my number. My number is 512-707-0836, but you'll always get my voicemail because I get telemarketing calls all day long. So leave a message. Call me. I can't even answer my phone anymore. I get 40 calls a day. Everybody in the country, on every telemarketing thing there is, I'm on their list.
And
but
Julia,
by the way,
definitely.
You folks that get telemarketing calls, check out NoMoRobo, NoMoRobo.com. Shows you how to stop the telemarketing calls. It's a great system. Check it out. Didn't want to plug them, but I did because it's a good system. Go ahead, Shelley.
And Julia, you could get a hold of me at 818-744-5241 or go to psychichorizon.com. Go to my website. Thank you for calling, Julia.
Thank you. I'll be in touch.
All
right. Have a good day.
And I'm now going to continue my interview with Gary Wimmer, and then we'll take our next caller, which is area code 678. Gary, how can we develop? How can we develop our natural psychic abilities?
Believe in it, try it, practice it, ask for help. You can read all kinds of books, and that helps. I use it for all kinds of things. I do, because why not? I don't always get exact right or left answers, but I get more clarity about, maybe a little more in the plus field right and a little more in the negative field left or whatever. Again, I think a lot of it is just believing that you can do it. You'll never learn to play baseball or hit home runs if you don't believe you can get up there and do it. And once you start believing in it, it's almost the next natural step, because by believing you can do it, you're asking the universe and yourself, your own higher mind, to help you grow. So many ways to read the signs, but like I said, relax about it. Relax about it so you can pick up the subtlety. Some things in the psychic world can be very subtle. Certainly some things can be very dramatic, and I've been through some, and you know that too, Shelley.
Yeah.
But most of it is pretty darn subtle. So if you want to pick up that subtlety, relax, meditate, clear your mind out, clear your heart out, take the dark glasses off, put fear aside. It's almost a natural process when you do those things to develop your psychic ability, because you're taking off the dark glasses in every category. That's kind of my theory.
Gary, let's take our next caller, which is area code 678. Hello, 678.
Hi, it's Kathy. How are you guys?
We're fine.
Hi,
How are
Kathy.
you, Kathy?
I'm doing well. I had a question concerning employment. I'm looking for employment, so trying to see if you see anything coming up in the near future.
Yeah. Do you want me to take that, Shelley, first?
Yes.
Okay, let's do two things. I happen to spread some cards while you were talking, but just say drop whenever it feels right. Merle, I'll drop these stones, and I'll kind of look at the cards and the stones. So whenever you say drop.
Drop.
Okay, exactly what I thought. Mercury's right in the center. That had a lot to do with communication, decision-making, and almost like raising your consciousness in terms of luck. The reason I mentioned the cards is because when you were asking this question, I spread the cards out, and they kind of confer with what I'm seeing here in the stones. I see satisfaction for you. You are going to score a good employment and almost like being reborn in your life on a lot of levels, including how you feel emotionally. And this can all take place in the next couple of weeks. The more you give yourself the right to not worry about what didn't happen up to this moment. Erase that blackboard every day and realize what you've learned in that day or that minute or that 24 or that week or whatever, because you're about to polish up on your skills of selling yourself. Do you understand? You with me, sweetheart?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
And when you sell yourself better and raise your standards, you put out more light, and people want to be attracted to you. So yeah, and you said this is about a job. Am I correct?
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. Yeah, I feel like you're compiling information in these next couple of weeks, giving it a couple more tries, and don't be surprised if by the third and fourth week here things really do take a drastic change for the better. They could happen tomorrow. I can't predict everything. But I do feel like by the fifth and sixth week here, you're kind of looking back and going, wow, I needed to go through this doubt in order to conquer my doubt about things. And I think this is also leading you in a better direction, both love-wise and relationship-wise. Are you with me on that? Are you single right now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I feel like you're overcoming your fears, and it's going to lead you into better territory relationship-wise. So the first thing I feel here is you just make the decision, I'm going to land a job, keep pursuing it, but every time, you don't get it, don't worry about it. There's 10 more doors available for every door that isn't. Are you with me?
Yeah. Is it something that I have already been submitted to and talked to, or something new that's coming?
I think you could pursue both. There's a time to get back with people, especially if you do it with such light grace and style that they're glad to hear from you, as opposed to pestering them. You see what I'm saying? You with me on that?
Yes. I had something a couple weeks ago. Both people from the past
and some new possibilities. But I feel like it's kind of a surprise. And I feel like it's a surprise and a good surprise. So you can kind of put your feelers out in 3 or 4 different areas, and then the fish that come in, you go, oh, now I know the place to fish. Now I know what's happening. If you'd have hit it on the first try, you wouldn't develop the skill at renegotiating with yourself about how good of an employee you can be and how much benefit you can be. So that's why you're overcoming a lot of your fears about it eventually, too. I feel like it's kind of a surprise, and you just keep pursuing things and talking to people, and then all of a sudden things happen, and you look back and going, oh, I see why I had to practice in 3 or 4 different keys. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what I feel, but I definitely feel toward the end of this 3-month period, you're on a whole new cycle, a whole new life, job-wise, feeling-wise, and romantically. So the decisions right now you make right in the center around your own home, your own environment, and committing to it, not what didn't happen up to this moment, but what you're going to make happen every day. And one of the big fish are going to get your line pretty quickly. That's what I feel.
Okay.
Shelley?
Kathy,
yes.
There's a job that you already applied for within just the last 1 or 2 weeks. And I feel that job is going to call you back, and that you're going to be going on a second interview, and that you're going to get hired. So it looks like you're going to get hired for a job by the end of the year. You will be working. It's a better job environment for you than the job that you had last. It's a good work environment. The people are nice. And I feel that you would make more money, that there's going to be an increase in your financial resources by the holidays. So it does look like that you are getting a job. There's also another job coming up in the next 1 week that you haven't applied for yet, that you're going to be hearing about. And you're going to be applying for that job also. So I feel that there's going to be a choice between 2 jobs, that there's going to be 2 job offers kind of coming in at the same time, so you're going to be having a choice.
Okay. A clarification on the first job. I did, it's kind of weird, a couple weeks ago, maybe about 3 weeks now, I had an interview scheduled, but I got to the office and supposedly the hiring manager had an emergency, and it didn't happen. First time in my entire career that I've ended up somewhere and didn't interview. And the position got placed on hold. So would that be what's coming back around? Because you said the second interview, because I did do a phone interview with them. And that would be a good opportunity. It's contract, but it's for a year assignment, great pay rate.
I think it's that company. I think that in the next 2 or 3 weeks that the job is going to be available again, and that they're going to call you in for an interview. And I feel that you could possibly get that job because it looks like that you do have the qualifications and the experience that they're looking for.
Okay.
So I think it could be that job. And Gary, how can Kathy get in contact with you?
Well, the easiest way is to email me. I've got several emails, but the shortest is gwim37@gmail.com, GWIM. at 37. You can also leave a message at 512-707-0836, or you can go to my website, lithomancy.com, lithomancy.com, like lithograph, lithomancy. Or you can Google Gary Wimmer. You'll find me. I want to concur with what you were saying just a moment ago, Shelley. I feel like there's and to you, Julia, is that your name, Julia?
Kathy.
Am I correct? Kathy, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the last caller. You've got a great opportunities coming these next couple of weeks. It's kind of like you've already been through the trials, so I feel the same thing. There's a lot of enthusiasm that you can bring, and people like. So don't worry about the wheels that didn't connect yet. They will. Raise your esteem, and you're worthy of it, and you know it. So don't let that. So keep that in your mind. I'm worthy of it. I'm worthy of hitting a damn home run.
Oh, I am. Trust
I know.
Me. I am.
Don't forget that.
By chance, could you tell me the 3 cards that you drew if you didn't pick them up already?
Oh, I've completely shuffled them a dozen times, but they were a 10 of diamonds, which is satisfaction over value and worth, a 2 of diamonds, which had to do with balance within yourself, seeing your own worth, and a couple cards like kings and queens that were powerful people that you could talk to. And right now I just cut the cards again. I got a 10 of hearts on top. 10s mean like the accomplishment, diamonds being with yourself, and hearts being with how much good, loving energy you put out to yourself as well. So you've kind of been through the doubt period, and I think this period of you really knowing how to start hitting the ball out of the damn park, and why not? You with me, girl?
Yes, and thanks for the reading, and thanks for encouragement. I appreciate both of you.
Absolutely. Think outside the box, and then you get it.
Thank you, Kathy.
Bye-bye.
I'm now going to continue my interview with Gary Wimmer, and then we're going to take our next caller, which is area code 484. How much can we know about our inner complexity?
Well, I think of it this way. I'll make an extreme. We can know nothing about it, like when you're a baby or an embryo or a young child, and you can know there's infinite amount to know. Our brains and human experience can provide a lot of that information about ourselves and how we interpret the world, which is our inner complexity. But by meditating and being cool and calm and collected and letting go of fear and doubt and anger, which is always a technique that you have to develop and practice, you end up letting go of or cutting holes through the walls that prevent you from knowing about your inner complexity. We're all very complex. We just see one little sliver of who we really are in this lifetime. We just see a few activated parts of our infinite selves. Obviously, because we are from infinite mind, we are infinite on the long term. In this particular sojourn, we're stuck in a body and certain genes and so forth. But our inner complexity is the doorway to know how to understand that. You don't have to. You don't have to understand gravity. Physicists like to. People who fly don't care, as long as it works. You see what I'm saying? If you're interested, you can learn. And you have to ask and you have to practice. If you're not interested, that's fine. You may not be interested in internal introspection and growth. You may be interested in wanting to be a good golfer. But introspection still helps. It makes you a better golfer. That makes sense, Shelley?
Yes. And let's take our, Gary, let's take our next caller, which is area code 484. Hello, 484.
Hi, this is Tonette calling. I'm calling from Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
Hello, girl.
Hello.
Hi, Tonette. How can we help you?
Hi, yes. Shelley, I had called you back in March of this year, and I was upset about the situation with me and Desiree. That was the dark hair female. And I remember you telling me back in March that I was going to meet. I wasn't even going to be with Desiree. Things weren't going to work out. And I was going to meet a blonde-haired girl later on in the year. That has actually all happened. The blonde-haired girl is in the picture now. Things did not work out with me and Desiree. She blocked me. We had a big fight. She hasn't resurfaced in 5 months. The blonde-haired girl came into my life July the 15th. Things were going great, but she pulled back her energy. She's really not communicating with me every day. I really need to know if Michelle, her name's Michelle, and her last name begins with the letter G, if Michelle G is the one that I'm going to be with, and if things are going to straighten out here or what's going to happen.
What do you pick up, Gary?
Well, I just dropped the stones while you were talking, sweetheart, and I saw the love stone here kind of piled on by several different things, you know. I think what y'all are both going through, and you in particular, because I'm talking to you, is getting rid of your fear and your doubt. I think this relationship can take a new form. I feel like the girl is sort of gun-shy or claustrophobic or something, you know. She's going through a lot of kind of banging herself on the head about regrets in the past and so forth. So she's not being real kind to herself, and it doesn't help her be kind to other people. But I think that's a passing phase. And I think I always suggest this: write her a letter and don't send it. Come back the next day and write it, and don't send it. Don't send your first or second or third or fourth draft. Send your final draft. And when you write a letter, you not only heal yourself minute by minute, 10 minutes a day, going through your own thoughts, you end up with something that's clear and clean and well thought out. And I mean a letter, not an email, not a text. Someone holds in their hand. Those things you can do. You cannot change other people or make them believe the world is round. But you don't have to. It's the things you can do in life that matter. So you're learning a lot of luck through disappointment. Good. Sometimes it takes getting knocked off the horse in order to get the courage to get back on, so you become a good horse rider, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Don't worry about having the wind knocked out of you. It's just going to show you how to get more strength. And that's what happens when we get the wind knocked out of us. I feel like by the third and fourth and fifth week here, your life's completely different. I think y'all's relationship has a way of reopening, maybe not immediately, but you're making new plans. She's making new plans, and y'all might be making new plans together. It feels kind of tentative because it's like there's two kegs of dynamite. You don't want either one of them to go off, you or her. You with me?
Okay.
You're both going through some difficult transitions. But I do feel like by the 9th to 12th week here, you've learned so much about yourself and her and your intuitive ability and healing and letting go that if this relationship ain't working and you can't make her tango, you're a better tango dancer than you ever believed. And beyond this 3-month period, you're getting power in your life in a fresh, new, updated form, so you don't do the same thing tomorrow and expect different results. You're doing something different tomorrow and getting different results. That's what I see.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you, girl?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, I kind of covered a lot, but this next week or two is you learning a lot of luck in spite of this. And why not? You know, we only learn to become fearless when we go through fear and come out the other side. Period.
Right.
You know, we only learn to play good notes when we sit down and practice and realize, oh, the bad notes, I ain't going to play them. You know. So bad notes can show you how to play good. Fear can help you become fearless. Look at what life can show you about what you can do. And I do suggest the letter for yourself and to end up with something that actually works. Shelley?
Tonette, I think that Michelle still has feelings for you. I just think that she's been really badly hurt in the past. That she went for a really bad breakup, And I think that she's just afraid of being hurt. And that's why I think that she's being kind of distant. So I think you just have to go slow with Michelle. But as we get into mid to late September and going into October, I feel that you're going to reconnect with Michelle. I feel that she's going to start to come around again. So she hasn't lost interest in you. She's just scared, and it's just taking her time. She just needs to work through her fears.
Right.
But
I just don't want to waste time like I was with Desiree. And I remember you telling me back in March that a blonde-haired girl was going to definitely come into the picture, and that's who I was going to be with. And I just want to make sure that Michelle is the one that I'm going to, have a long-term relationship here with, Shelley.
I feel that you are, Tonette. I really think that she, cares about you, that she does have feelings for you, but she's slowing down because she's scared.
Right.
But I think by the end of September or going into October, she's going to come around again. So don't give up hope. I think you could end up with Michelle.
Okay, good. Well, thank you so much, Shelley. You've been a help for many, many months with me, and I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Tonette.
And if I could comment, Tonette, I agree with her timing. Because the same stones are saying the same thing to me as about luck and fortune here coming in the next couple of weeks. In fact, start it now. Don't punish yourself over what you can't change about somebody else's timing or whatever. Look at yourself, how much you can grow and learn and raise your consciousness. She'll feel it, and she'll be pulled back to you more. And you gain anyway by that.
Right.
Good luck,
right.
Burton.
Thank you.
You too, girl. Stay inspired.
And thank you for calling, Tonette.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I just want to let the callers know that I'm having a special on readings for the month of September and October, 30 minutes for $20. So if you would like to get your reading, call 818-744-5241 or go to my website, psychichorizon.com, and go to PayPal and book your reading. And Gary, are you having any specials on readings?
I don't have it right now, but you've inspired me to maybe send out another gift card or something. So and that's what a deal. That's really generous of you, Shelley. I admire you for that.
Thank you.
You're smart, thinking about the same thing, and you always kind of amaze me with your insights. Like I told you in a very loving way, you're a unique lady, and I just love it sometimes when you just come up with some great, inspiring things for people. So my hat's off to you. The people who get the readings from you, they're going to get a good deal and a good chunk of advice. And to all you callers and all you folks listening, remember, much less is written in stone than we write. There's all kinds of possibilities. Nothing's guaranteed in life except change and death. But you'd be amazed how much we can gain and learn and create in life. Even though it ain't guaranteed, we have a lot more power than we realize. And things do change. Kind of my closing thoughts, I suppose. And
thank you for being a guest today, Gary.
My pleasure, Shelley.
I'll have you back in the future. And have a good weekend. And so I wanted to thank you for being a guest, and I wanted to thank Tiffany White Sage Woman of Goldilocks Production for producing the Psychic Horizon show, and I want to thank all the callers who called in. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Shelley.